What's up again, guys? Brian here at 3TR, and I got another episode of People's Questions, episode 81. I would like to once again thank all of you guys out there that sent in your really great questions. They were very diverse, as I like it. And start off real simple with number one, coming from Little Big Yoda 115. And you basically wanted to ask a common question, which I've been asked many times, and that is, what are my feelings on Keith Sutherland doing the voice of Big Boss or Naked Snake, or however you want to call him? Although there's been a lot of theories going around saying how he's actually not really going to be the voice, because we've seen some footage of him do the voice for one version of Snake and then not do it for another, but let's just play the game that he is the official voice. Well, I'm perfectly fine with it. As I said earlier on in the year, if you've played the game Metal Gear Solid 4, you'll notice that that Big Boss's voice is significantly different from David Hayter's voice of Solid Snake. And so, in realism, Big Boss's character is getting to that point where he's certainly going to sound different than Solid Snake, who Solid Snake is a clone. So it makes perfect sense that he would want to be a different voice actor. The only thing about that statement that I didn't quite agree with was that Hideo Kojima made the statement that he wanted an actor who could actually get the emotional, expressions done right, and that was something I thought maybe that didn't make much sense, because I'm sure David Hayter could have pulled that off too. So if you just said that he needed someone who maybe had actual acting experience and he just wanted that for the new voice of older Big Boss, and that's an answer I would have happily accepted. Next two questions come from Raymond Schaefer, and your first question was, what did I think of the story of Resident Evil Raccoon City? To be honest, Raymond, I didn't really think there was much of a story in that game. I mean, as far as I know, you were playing as, if I remember correctly, there was up to 6 or 7 different Umbrella operatives that you could have played as, and your basic objective was simply to retrieve certain items, and it all culminated in a final answer of whether or not you want to kill Leon or not, and that really turned into probably one of the most underwhelming what-if games that I've played in recent years. But in terms of story, I just didn't really think it had a standalone story simply because it was used as a what-if scenario. I think they could have done much, much more, maybe thrown in some Resident Evil 3 Nemesis into the mix, and so you have a game that mixes both 2 and 3, and they just didn't go that far. Your next question is, could they make a Batman Arkham game with Robin using the co-op element? That was a very good question. I absolutely love the character Robin. I think he's very, very underrated, and he was actually even my favorite character to play as in the challenge maps in Arkham City. I absolutely loved his combat a lot better than Batman's. But bringing him into co-op, I think the problem you would have with something like that, because in a theory, that sounds like a great idea, to simply have 2 characters be able to fight multiple enemies and be able to stealth take down enemies. It was a much, much more effective technique. But I think that the restrictions is that you would not be allowed to leave the area without the next character. And so I think there's that pause that would make co-op very, very difficult. And on paper, it sounds like it could easily work if you made the right challenge maps, or you made certain sections of the game to the point where there's not going to be dividers in which your characters can be in one part of the map and the other character can be in another part of the map. That, I think, could work. However, I don't think any studio that wants to take on the Arkham series would want to do that, simply because they want to focus on the Batman story arc. And I think that's just a bit unfortunate, because I would really like to see a game or a storyline or even a movie one day that actually explores the whole Batman family legacy, because I think that would be a very interesting storyline. Next 2 questions come from I Run With Scissors, and your first question is, if I could travel to time anywhere, where and when would I go? I would probably want to travel someplace in the 1980s. That way I could have a chance to maybe see Michael Jackson perform in his prime. I think you guys know I'm a big Michael Jackson fan, so if I could pick a specific time, I can't remember the date, but I would want to go to the 25th anniversary Motown, where he debuted the moonwalk for the first time. I think that would be an amazing moment. So I don't know what date exactly that is, but that's where I would go. So if any of you guys know the exact date, tell me in the comments down below. That way I can have a specific time. And your second question is, what movie twist has shocked me the most? Now, I actually spent a bit thinking about this. In terms of movies, it was really hard to narrow it down. If you had asked me a video game, I absolutely have a defining answer for that, and surprisingly, it's not even in a Metal Gear Solid game. But in terms of movies, I would say the biggest overall twist I could think of is probably in The Dark Knight, when Joker told Batman reversed locations between Harvey Dent and Rachel. And I think the reason that twist was so effective is because I didn't know exactly how Harvey Dent would kind of turn into Two-Face, but after seeing that scene, it now made sense as for how hard Harvey would fall into that mindset. So I think it's how the twist would affect the rest of the movie and the tone. I think that is what made it the most effective twist that I've seen in a movie in recent years. The next two questions come from Criticism Guy 2009, and you first want to know, are there any particular sports games that I'm interested in if I had to rent one? I'm not really too into sports games, as I'm sure we all know, but if I actually had to pick one to rent, I would probably pick Madden, simply because out of any sport, I would say I do generally watch football, like any game that has my three favorite teams playing. If there's nothing else on, I'll be more than happy to watch it. And I do know the fundamental rules of football. I have played it a number of times, and so that would be the one sports game I would feel comfortable playing against the computer, or even against one of you guys. So Madden. And the last question, which this was a really good one, and it's not fair, Criticism Guy, that you took away my three favorites. And you want to know, who is my favorite mutant in the X-Men group, not including Wolverine, Professor X, or Magneto, which I thought was very unfair. But if I had to pick a fourth runner-up, I would probably pick Nightcrawler, simply because I like his overall character traits. He's not exactly human. I absolutely love his ability to teleport, and I think that would even be a much more effective means of transportation than flying. Because, most people have the concept of, I want the power to fly so I can feel like a bird. But heck, if I can teleport, then heck, I can go anywhere I want just like that. And so teleportation is an absolutely better power, in my opinion, than simply flying. I mean, that's something that even Superman would have trouble with. So that's why Nightcrawler would be my fourth runner-up. And with that, that is all the questions you guys have sent me in this week. I'd like to thank the four of you guys for sending me in your questions. If you have any questions, if you're new to this channel, please type them in the comments down below, and I will answer them in the next episode. And remember, try to limit it to only 2 questions per person. That way I can actually have more time to bring in more people. You can also click the links in the description down below to follow me on Twitter or friend me on Facebook, and that way you guys can keep track of me and what things 3TR will be bringing in the future. And if you like this video, please like, comment down below, and please subscribe to check for me and my future movie, video game reviews, and episodes of People's Questions. And before I close, I have a question for all of you out there. And this is like a little viewer's question that I just came up with. And the question I have for you guys is if you could pick any video game or comic book character that you would want to hang out with for a day, who would that character be? Please tell me in the comments. And like always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.